Today we're checking out, this is the Dockcase 10-in-1 USB-C smart hub. And firstly, before I even say that, this is a work of art. Just look at the beauty. Screen, you can actually see in and see the components. This is fancy just to look at. And secondly, it also has a screen to let you know exactly what is going on. Now this guy, look at the back here, tells you all of the different componentries. You got 100 watts power delivery. You got 8K 30 hertz HDMI. You got 4K 120 hertz DVI. Well, as long as you're on Windows, fortunately I got a Mac. So yeah, you can't get 4K 120 hertz unfortunately on Mac, but on Windows, apparently you can. We're testing it on Mac to show you what's going on. Anyway, jump back in. You got USB-A. This is a 480 megabits. You got 1000 megabits Ethernet. Around the back here, you got two SD cards. You got the micro and the full fat version. You got another USB-A and another USB-A, but this is 3.0, so that goes up to 10 gigabits a second. And finally, you get USB-C, 10 gigabits a second. So let's go appreciate the work of art's performance. Let's plug it in and see how she rocks. I've got right here a lot of hub activity going on in this section, and let's go to check it out. So this hub goes into also this hub here, and that connects my keyboards, my trackpad and the mouse, and this hub connects via this one, I think, this port. So I'm going to unplug this one and I'll see how good it is, and I'll plug that into the USB-C, that one over there, and I'll plug this one into the Mac, and hopefully it should still work. Alright, so there you have it. It is now plugged in, and we can see that we got a 3.0 being activated right there. So let's see if the keyboard still works. Yep, trackpad is still working, and I can still type away. That is pretty good. So I've just added it in, and it's managed to support my not just one hub but two hubs plugged in, and all of these USB-C's extension. It all seems to be working, and that's a win so far. So let's now plug in, monitor, and see if it still rocks. All right, so I'm going to take my HDMI out and put it into the HDMI slot. You can see right there, it says display has been detected, and it's going 60 hertz at 4K. The resolution is insanely low at the moment, but I'm going to go inside settings. LG, I'm going to make that 4K, and it's detected 60 hertz right there. So we are back up and running, and the screen, yep, it feels just like 4K. Swiping through. So we've got all of our hubs activated, all connected in a daisy chain, and we've also got 60 hertz 4K LG OLED TV connected, and we're boom shakalacking it away. What else can we add? Let's add in an SD card, and let's also try and max this out. I'm going to put the SD card in there. This is just a standard micro SD card. Put it in full fat one because we're going to be comparing the speeds with the Mac as well. So plug that in, and also let's plug in an SD inside there as well, and it's blue, and that will go in the blue one to get maximum speeds. So we see we got 3.2 on, 3.0 on, and you got the SD card up and running, and it is boom shakalacking. So first, the micro SD card. Let's see it running. We're transferring 30 megabytes a second, and that's writing. It's a slow SD card, but it's writing nonetheless. So I'm not really happy with the SD card performance speeds, but it's of course because I'm using a rubbish micro SD. This is like an unbranded one. I'm going to plug it into the Mac to compare speeds, and then I'll find a faster one to see how that does. So on the Mac as well, it's going 28 megabytes a second. That is just ever so slightly je ne sais quoi slower than when it is inside this hub. It's crazy. That's really crazy. Let me get a better SD card and redo that test. This one's coming straight out of my camera, so this should be a super fast one. Look at that, SanDisk Extreme. Says right there, it should go up to 90 megabytes a second. So I'll plug it into the Mac first. It's going 60 megabytes a second. kind of as expected. You never get the full performance. Now back into the hub. And on the hub, we're also getting 60 megabytes a second. However, look at all the connections we've got. We've got HDMI attached. We've got micro, we've got an SD card attached. We've got this SSD attached. And we've got all of these hubs attached, as well as this monitor attached. And we're still bombing it. Let's go inside our SSD. And that guy's bombing it over 400 megabytes a second. So, and 500 megabytes a second over that reading. Pretty good. So let's see how warm it is after using it for quite a bit. It is lukewarm. Like, I can still touch it with my hands. Lukewarm. It's not hot. So that's nice. So it's not overburdened with all of these connections running. Alright, so that was a quick performance review of the Dockcase 10-in-1 Smart USB-C hub. As you can see, it's a work of art, beautiful display, letting you know exactly what's going on. I am happy with this, I gotta say. It does do a lot of things, very, very mobile and portable to use, especially when I'm out and about. I've got so many different ports and accessories for it. I guess it would be doubly useful if I was on the older style Macs without the SD cards, but it's still good having the micro straight there so you can plug it in as well. And having a bit of Ethernet is always handy for someone like me. I love Ethernet over Wi-Fi. It's a lot more solid. The only negative I'd say is that 4K 120 Hertz is Windows only. It doesn't work on Mac. And secondly, I did have a couple of issues when I have the HDMI plugged in and my Mac goes to sleep. Waking it up, I had to unplug the USB-C and plug it back in again. So that was a bit disappointing, but maybe they'll fix it with some firmware updates in the future. But overall, it was pretty nifty. Alright, so this is the Dockcase USB-C accessory, and it has all the features. The one I'm most looking forward to is, look at that, 4K 120 Hertz. It's got USB 3.2, detachable design, 16-bit color display, gigabit Ethernet, SD card city, 100 watts of power delivery, and real-time temperature information. Now, first, let's just appreciate the package. Look, it shows you where the USB-C is, and these are all the ports, as you can see. So you got USB-C, USB-C. This is the cable you want to see. High quality, thick, solid, and small cable. That's perfect. And this is the device itself. And I have got the sexiest version of this because, boom, you can actually see the internals just like that. It is a gorgeous design. And look at it. This is a work of art as well. This is a gorgeous device. Let's peel it open. Let me know what USB-C hub you guys are using out there in the world. Is it as classic, technologia, beautiful like this one? Work of art? Or is this the one to get? Hope you guys found this video useful and enjoyed the show.